Welcome. In this video, the event, Scherzo of Iron and Blood of Azur Lane will be summarized. Throughout the video, there will be spoilers for the story of Azur Lane. If you don't want to be spoiled, please go and play the game. The event starts with Bismarck rallying the Iron Blood personnel, emphasizing their endurance through trials. Now is the time to showcase their resolve and strength. They'll rely on their cannons, not trickery, to expand their lands for the fight for the fatherland. Victory is the only option for Iron Blood and the Crimson Axis. Now at sea, and very shortly after Bismarck sunk Hood, Prince Eugen reports Hood's incapacitation and Prince of Wales' retreat, noting the Royal Navy's disarray. Bismarck cautions against underestimating them. Concerned for Bismarck's injuries, Prince Eugen suggests slowing down, with Bismarck brushing off the injuries, prioritizing the threat. Prince Eugen insists on self-care and questions Bismarck's bravado. Bismarck acknowledges Prince Eugen's concern and leadership. Eugen notices that they are being pursued and taunts their pursuers, prompting panic among them. She asks Bismarck for permission to engage in some mischief, which Bismarck allows with a caution to not overextend. Eugen agrees, eager to play with their adversaries. Eugen reports driving off their pursuers but acknowledges the need for repairs due to Bismarck's injuries. Bismarck decides to head back to base alone while Eugen continues the mission. Bismarck assures Eugen of the safety of her route. Eugen reluctantly agrees to follow orders, acknowledging the exceptional circumstances. Bismarck emphasizes the urgency and issues a direct order. Eugen wishes Bismarck luck, and Bismarck reciprocates. They exchange well wishes and part ways. While heading back to base, Bismarck is confronted by Observer, who warns of the Iron Blood's potential downfall and offers a forbidden power. Bismarck rejects the offer, asserting the Iron Blood's resilience. Observer questions Iron Blood's worth and hints at the threat posed by the Royal Navy. Despite the Siren's warnings, Bismarck refuses the offer. After the encounter, Bismarck reflects on the overwhelming power presented and seeks guidance. Meanwhile, the Royal Navy prepare to engage Bismarck. Bismarck spots incoming aircraft, lamenting Graf Zemplin's absence, but refocusing on the threat. She dismisses the possibility of such a small airstrike sinking a Iron Blood battleship and orders her AA guns to target the enemy aircraft. Victorious confirms a hit on Bismarck, but is surprised by her unaffected speed. She vows a second strike once her aircraft are ready. King George V applauds Victorious and privately acknowledges Bismarck's formidable resistance. Concerned about Bismarck seeking refuge in Evician waters, George emphasizes the need to slow her down by any means necessary, with Victorious relaying that Force H will arrive soon. In a flashback, U-556 excitedly approaches Bismarck, praising her recent performance and seeking her blessings. Bismarck, initially reserved, eventually smiles at 556's antics and grants her wishes, including calling her Lord Bismarck. 556 pledges her allegiance and hands Bismarck a sponsorship certificate. As 556 departs for her duty with her sister, Bismarck reflects on the encounter and wonders about Tirpitz's well-being. 556 leaves behind a heartfelt pledge and drawing, declaring, again, her loyalty to Bismarck. In the present, Renown and Force H confront Bismarck, vowing to impede her escape. Bismarck, undeterred, prepares to face the incoming challenge. Ark Royal, part of Force H, launches her airstrikes at Bismarck, with Bismarck confronting Ark Royal's squadron, realizing too late that torpedoes approach from her blind spot. Bismarck is subsequently hit and laments underestimating the biplanes. Ark Royal alerts nearby ships of Bismarck's impaired maneuverability and calls for reinforcements. Renown demands Bismarck surrender, but Bismarck refuses, determined to fight on despite her failure. She vows to protect her comrades and fulfill their dream, declaring her resolve to fight until the end for Iron Blood. George demands Bismarck's surrender, but offers a fair trial in exchange. But Bismarck accuses her of suppressing her fighting instinct. George emphasizes the Royal Navy's moral duty and warns Bismarck. Bismarck responds with furor, indicating her defiance. George notes Bismarck's depleted ammo and orders all forces to open fire. determined to defeat her for the glory of the Royal Navy. George is impressed by Bismarck's armor, and Bismarck boasts of the Iron Blood's superior metallurgy. Suddenly, firepower from the starboard surprises Bismarck. Rodney announces her triumph and challenges Bismarck's armor with 16-inch guns. Amid surrounding explosions, Bismarck reflects on the intense battle as a thrill for an Iron Blood battleship. Losing her main gun, Dora, she questions her initiative. Rodney plans to target Bismarck's bridge when a shell from underwater surprises them. Tester, the one who fired the shell, suddenly interrupts, warning against damaging their specimen. George rallies the royal fleet to confront the sirens, anticipating their interference. Tester confronts Bismarck, urging her to use an unspecified power. Bismarck still refuses the sirens' power, citing a realization after dueling with Hood that winning unfairly brings no glory. She struggles with inner darkness but resolves to end the conflict. Tester reports to some higher authorities, prompting an explosive response from Bismarck. She reaffirms her loyalty to Iron Blood and opens fire. Tester notes the unexpected turn and prepares for further action. Meanwhile, George assesses the damage and vows to pursue both Sirens and the Iron Blood. Renown, Ark Royal, and Victorious close the distance and fully join the battle, launching Swordfish aircraft. George assigns Renown and Ark Royal to secure air superiority while she and Rodney plan to break through defenses. Tester taunts the Royal Fleet, noting abnormalities in the situation possibly due to an awakening protocol. The signal is lost, but Tester remains determined to analyze wisdom cubes. As the Sirens' movements slow, George orders a charge. Tester observes escalating energy readings as the Royal Navy unleashes firepower, creating a thick mist. Despite losing sight of Bismarck, Tester reflects on the pursuit of knowledge. Suddenly, an ominous presence emerges, and George orders emergency maneuvers as a massive beam of light strikes. Bismarck's attack damages George's armor, revealing the power of the cannon. As the mist clears, Bismarck reappears, surrounded by a menacing aura. Tester, however, is absent. Bismarck quotes a defiant statement about defying gods. George criticizes Bismarck for abandoning honor in pursuit of power. She vows to end her plot, regardless of her beliefs. George closes the distance, acknowledging Bismarck's long-range prowess in defeating Hood. She challenges Bismarck to direct confrontation, urging her to draw her sword. Bismarck reflects on the concept of honor, and George commands the Royal Navy fleet to cover her as she approaches. Bismarck unleashes a devastating attack, absorbing the Siren fleet and triggering an explosion that damages her rigging. Despite Tester's observations, Bismarck remains defiant, expressing her devout loyalty to the Iron Blood. The Royal Navy decides to end the conflict, focusing all firepower on Bismarck. However, Bismarck questions Observer about the fate of her people and is offered, once again, a chance to transcend her limitations. Bismarck ultimately sacrifices herself to reshape destiny, ensuring the Iron Blood's freedom. With Bismarck's sacrifice, the battle ends, and the Royal Navy emerges victorious. George praises their tenacity and calls for continued determination in future battles. Finally, they prepare to return home, emphasizing the importance of thorough inspections and repairs. Much later, approaching the source of a distress signal, 556 realizes it's Bismarck in trouble. Determined to assist, she charges ahead, pledging her loyalty to Bismarck. She vows to provide assistance wherever needed and draws a picture of herself rescuing Bismarck. Observer expresses disappointment in failure to break the Awakening Protocol, but finds solace in the data collected. They chose Bismarck due to her defiance against statistical models, hoping she'd be the key to a successful awakening. Observer likens Bismarck to a dancer defying fate, inspired by decoding ancient human documents. They suggest using Bismarck as a specimen for further testing. Tester receives a message about completing work in Sector C3 and suggests playing some chess. Thanks for watching. Please follow my Twitter and Blue Sky for updates, and please check out my other Arknights and Girls Frontline videos as well.